Warning. This podcast contains explicit sexual language and should only be listened to at work if you're looking for an excuse to connect with your HR representative. Additionally, all mentions of the word women include cis and trans women. If you are genderqueer, gender fluid, figuring it out, anything in between, and feel like this conversation is also important for you, you are welcome here.
Will you open up with me? These pages, they can feed your innermost desires. Do you feel inspired? Are you getting what you need? Are you coming curiously? A secret safe with me. And here you can simply be yourself. Jade. Sweet romance. Come on in, come on in, come on.
Hi, all. This is Jace, and you've stumbled upon a book club episode of Jace Reads Romance, where we pick ideally steamy, spicy books, and I discuss them with a new partner. Most of the time, we pick books that I love, and even when I have led us astray, those discussions and the rants that we've had are still a blast. We will spoil the ever-loving shit out of these books. So if you prefer to have a surprise when you read, take a look at the show notes for what book we're reading and come back at a later date. I hope you enjoy listening as much as we did recording. Thanks. Hi, y'all. This is Jace, she, they, and you found Jace Reads Romance, a community dedicated to empowering women about sex and sexuality through the reading of romance novels. And there are just some romance novels that think you can't go on, where you get into the middle of them and think, no, it can't go this way. I don't feel safe anymore. I don't feel snuggly anymore. And the fact that this isn't even a dark romance was the most shocking. So 2 years ago, I read the book we're about to talk about. And then when I met Kay and Elle from What in the Smut, I said, these two need to read it with me because I feel like they will understand the shock and trauma that came from reading this book. And so I want to welcome back Kay and Elle from What in the Smut. If you haven't listened to that episode, please go back and do so. But hello!
Hello!
Today, we will be talking about The Naughty List by Jade West, which I very strongly recommended for this episode. I thank you for letting me do this to you. I really appreciate it.
And it really was done to us.
Yeah. This was a strong suggestion.
When we were planning when to do this, I was like, a Christmas book in February? No, It's not Christmas.
No, it's not Christmas.
No.
It's not. It has nothing to do with Christmas or the holiday season, except that it takes place around then, which is why I don't feel bad.
There was a Santa Claus scene, though.
Yeah, but it wasn't a sexy Santa Claus scene.
It wasn't a sexy Santa Claus scene. By the time we got to the Santa Claus scene, I had forgotten that it was supposed to be Christmas. And I was like, what new fetish are we going to explore here? And it was just the fetish of giving to charity, I guess.
Kay, because you came on the recording first, would you like to give the listeners just a high-level overview of the plot of this book?
Is there a plot?
There is. I was pleasantly surprised there is a plot. So we do have a main character whose name is Ella, but throughout the book she will go by Holly. And Holly is struggling for cash, and she misses her parents who live in Australia, and she wants to make some cash fast, so she decides to become an entertainer. And her exploits become increasingly more exploitative, if you will.
Yes.
And yeah, that's the basic overview.
She's also struggling from a breakup with a man who, wow, what a piece of shit. Oh, sorry. Am I allowed to swear?
Yes.
I can't remember.
Oh, so much.
Okay,
So
good.
much.
I just I did find myself really, aside from all of the smut, which is weird. I feel like Kay and I have talked about this on our podcast of like, we'll never be happy because when there is plot, it's too thin. And when there is no plot, then we're like, where's the plot? Yeah. I actually really appreciated this plot. I thought it was very empowering. I found that I was really, really excited for the scene where she finally confronts her ex-boyfriend.
Yes.
Like it worked really well for how few sentences, I would say, were devoted to the plot versus the wealth of filth that we, and I do call it filth because she calls it filth, not because I mean, we'll get into it, but
there's a lot.
There's a lot here.
Yeah. I don't mind the amount of spice in this book.
No.
And I don't think it's too much because the plot is spice. The plot is Ella / Holly has this need. She needs to get out of debt. She needs to get fucked. She's horny and young, and she needs to make money so that she can emotionally heal with her parents.
Yeah.
And the way that she does that is by being an entertainer, as she says. And her exploring all of these things. So the fact that every other chapter we get another encounter with a client, that makes sense. It's kind of like how Kiss of the Basilisk, I don't think it was too much smut. I didn't like the smut in it, but like the plot was smut. The plot of that book was you're going to get trained in sex from a basilisk and then you're going to have sex with the prince. And so every scene with either one of them is smutty. That's
true, but Kiss of the Basilisk had absolutely no business being 600 pages.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That one's a triggering one for us.
Yes.
No, we've talked about it. I didn't enjoy that book. I read it when it was Split or Swallow. Then when it got picked up by Trad, I went, why?
Yeah. It's a phenomenon for sure.
I will say the second one?
Sorry.
I bought the second one because it's pretty, but I also felt like the plot, what little there was complete at the end of the first book.
Yeah.
And so the fact that the second book is not only in existence, but also about the same throuple situation, I don't know why.
Yeah. And it's just as thick, right?
Oh, she thick. But it's just as pretty a book. It's like I bought the book purely for aesthetic reasons.
That's fair.
We are little dragons guarding our hoards.
100%. So I have to say, this book, we spoil everything, we ruin everything, and we can jump around. When I first read it, the dungeon scene is what broke me. Because the dungeon scene happens at 53% of the way through this book. And I feared for Holly's life at that point. I was like, I don't know where you go from here. And I fear for you.
Oh, because everyone before that, it just kind of builds.
It keeps ratcheting out.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, and where she goes from there,
yes. Whew. So did you have a moment where you thought, oh no?
There were many.
Yeah.
I think there's like I wasn't concerned during the dungeon scene, actually.
I wasn't concerned during the scene. I was concerned for what was going to come after this.
Yes. And the thing that came after is where I was actually concerned. I truly thought and now like having gone through it all and maybe misremembering if there was something that came in between. The scene in the park where
there was a scene between. It was the worship. The worship.
Oh, the only thing I disliked about I will say there is a certain like this is an uncomfortable level of obsession that in any other story I would be like, oh, we're going to start talking about how Holly lit up a room with her smile. Like this is a true crime podcast waiting to happen. My biggest issue with that particular encounter is that she goes home in sandals in December in London with her feet covered in cum.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. The sandals in December in London already was like, I don't approve of your life choices, but like,
yeah. But I have to say, like, London isn't Chicago. Like, London isn't as
no, but like it's
cold.
No, but
cold,
it's still wet.
It's so
December
cold
in London is cold. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's not a.
Well, I mean, we're not talking 2 feet of snow, but hardly any snow. But it's still cold.
We're talking like that uncomfortable, like sleet temperature, where it's just like
I'm
of
just
freezing.
remembering being in my early 20s in Chicago, going to the club in shoes that
had no business being outside in the winter.
No business. Barely should have been outside at all.
And those shoes are matched with the shortest, tightest skirt / dress / maybe it was a shirt that you just were wearing as a dress. Yeah, no.
And the lack of coat because you didn't want to carry it. And once you
didn't want to bring it in the club. Oh yes, no. Sprint.
I want you all to know
sprint to the club.
That still is happening. I did witness that a couple weeks back. That moment of peak girlhood does live on.
That's beautiful.
Yes, it's quite nice.
It's really what strengthened
us. And I went, oh, honey, nothing in there is as good as what you want to look like right now. Nothing that's not worth it.
I feel like it's such a rite of passage. And I've been talking, I don't know, are you two technically millennials or the next one down?
Yeah,
millennials. Yeah, so I was talking to, I don't remember what the next one down is, Gen Z. And so many of them are like, I don't know how to exist in heels. We go to the club in our sneakers. I'm like, that's silly. Why? You can't drop it like it's hot in sneakers.
It's much more difficult to drop it like it's hot and flat.
The leverage of a heel makes it so much easier to drop it like it's hot.
I hate to inform both of you, but none of the people in Gen Z know what it means to drop it like it's hot.
That's sad.
They have their own anthems that they drop it to in the club.
That's true. So the plot of this is Spice. The plot of this is she's making money, she's having sex. And the thing about, I think, can we just call her Holly?
Yeah.
So that we don't also confuse Ella with Elle.
Yeah.
Who I'm talking about. The thing about Holly is she claims to have a really high sex drive. She's experimented with kink in her personal life, and she is horny as fuck. And so she wants to make as much money as possible, get fucked in the way she wants to. And then there's this weird competition shit with being a hardcore in this entertainment company, which means doing very hardcore things, getting really good reviews from her clients, checking lots of stuff on her kink list, or as they call it, the naughty list. Yes, I still do quotations with bunny ears.
So do I. Is that a thing people aren't doing anymore?
I don't know, but this is technically there's an oral medium to this, so you might not be able to see my bunny ear quotes.
We could hear them for sure.
Thank you. I try. So it escalates so quickly.
Yeah.
It does.
It just goes from vanilla to period play so fast.
I sent Elle a picture of my face when that scene, because she had texted me earlier in the day and was like, I don't think I'm into the period play, and I hadn't gotten that far yet. Yep. So I texted her a picture of my face, and I was just like,
yeah.
No, that's not my thing. Which,
I mean, I still have a screenshot of our faces when, Jace, you told us about using blood as lube.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
It's on my desktop. It brings me joy. It's like in my happy thoughts folder, because I'm just like, and Kay's like, and Jace is like, it's great. Everything about it is great. But yeah, so much of this book is like, I don't want to yuck anybody's yum. Yes. And like, also, I do find that I appreciate so much of this portrayal of the entertainment company, which is like fully sex work.
Yes.
Sex work in the beginning.
Yes.
Like but they are entertainers. They are playing a role. They're playing a part. And like the complete, like she is competitive, but it's not like she's actively hating on the other entertainers. Like she has such respect for what they do and like truly like idolizes them. Like we'll see Cream Girl, her main like competition, quote unquote, like at towards the end we'll like meet her in person. But like there's so much good here in that like everyone is so supportive and so chatty and so like concerned about safety and ensuring that like they're trading notes about the users, like the user X whatever
the numbers are.
Right. And like being a community. And I really appreciated that. I did not appreciate the serial killer setup where she lays on a plastic sheet and like there's so much blood. There's so much blood.
Yeah.
I want to touch upon that because there is this beautiful sense of community and support. And so the way that Holly even gets connected to this is she, was in a dirty chat room and she made a friend with this woman, Ebony, who she, like implied that she was in sex work. And so Holly reached out to her and said, hey, I am in a desperate state and tell me more about what you do. And Ebony is the hype girl that we all need in our life. Ready to just show her the ropes and talk her down and share the things. And once she gets into, she moves through her probationary period. She's introduced to the group chat of entertainers, and it's not all women. There are women and men, and I strongly suspect non-binary people and trans people probably also in there.
I think they were listed. There was like a one-off listing, I think, but I do think they called out non-binary.
Probably. I can't imagine that they wouldn't, that there aren't, given how queer positive this whole situation is.
Yep.
And they talk about these users. They talk about how you might feel the next morning, like morning after syndrome. They talk about all sorts of stuff. And so while you're alone, unless you're doing a group thing, while you're alone doing these things, you aren't actually, because you can post, hey, I'm having trouble, or hey, how do I do this? You can vet your users before, just like you have a profile as your entertainer with reviews and things, you can vet users through the group chat, which I think is amazing and wonderful. And it really does promote that sense of safety, because sex workers are just absolutely marginalized and not believed, and that's a whole other podcast episode. But
True.
This creates a really nice community of people supporting people doing this, and there isn't any of that. Like, I mean, she has some moments where a review comes in, she goes, "Oh my gosh, was I better than Cream Girl?"
Yeah.
Never in a, like, when she meets Cream Girl, she's a puddle on the floor. She's fangirling and not, ooh, I'm going to be your rival and oust you.
Which, like, it kept, like, being set up like that was going to be, especially because at the party at the end, like, they have their entertainer, like, Christmas party. Cream Girl shows up late to the party in a very similar outfit to Holly. And I was just like, oh, we are really going to get a full-on, like, cat girl kind of moment. But no, never. And, like, the other thing that was so, like, fabulous about just the portrayal of sex work in this story is, like, Ebony is a mom.
Yeah.
And her husband, and like a stay-at-home mom. And, like, her husband is, like, fully supportive and, like, takes the kids when she goes on her proposals. Like, everything about it is so, like, it is amazing. Like an alternate universe almost, where no one vilifies sex work whatsoever. And, like, you get, like, a glimpse of, like, oh, this is what it could be.
Yeah.
Where you do get to kind of, like, explore a lot of, like, people's kinks in a way that is safe, with a consenting adult who knows exactly what you are proposing, and like, you get to live out that fantasy, and, like, in a way that's not harmful to anyone. Like, although, like, my guy who likes consensual non-consent, like, I need you to pick a safer location. Like, I was so afraid that whole scene that the guy who ends up, like,
kidnapping her is not him.
Yes.
Yeah. There are a few things that I would have changed in terms of kink, in terms of how some of this came out. But I also really like when we're talking about how sex work is portrayed and how, God, I wish it were normalized, because I think that there are some things that people like and want to do that require a level of expertise that if you're not in a committed relationship, you cannot do safely. The only safe way to do them would be with a professional. And that is really important, that people are able to access and express their sexual desires in a safe way for both them and their partners. And to go back to Ebony's relationship with her husband, she mentions that he loves his job. He loves what he does, and he's so happy in his job. It just pays shit.
Yeah.
And there are so many people out there who, like, could basically, like, she's able to support her husband in a career that he loves by doing this, and that earns respect. I think that deserves respect from a husband or a partner. Not that Ebony doesn't like what she does either. Like, she's like, I think you're a lifer like me. And it
that's
gave
me
great.
A different perspective, I think. And I think that, like, it's because this agency that they're working through is a business. Like, they are vetting their customers, they're vetting their employees, they are making sure, like, if there's ever an issue, that person gets banned. It's all, like, a very well-run business, and the people that are the clients know that, and the clients make it like they don't want to get kicked off the list, because they're getting a good service when they are utilizing it. So, I mean, it gave me a different perspective on it, I think, and also with Holly, like, she needs the money, and she was pretty, like, desperate for it, but also she is into it with every situation.
That was the one thing that I would be curious to hear from like someone who works in the business, because like I question where like that line is.
Yeah.
And I do wonder about like portraying, like obviously like it gets her good reviews, and like her clients often remark that like they can tell that she's actually into it. And like it just makes me think of like having worked in a coffee shop and like having a customer service voice and face and like being chatty with customers because you have to, because like that's the job that you're in, and like having had people mistake that for flirtation and for like making that into something that it's not. Like I feel like that line would be so exceptionally blurry in something like sex work. And especially when we get how much she loves it and how much she like is horny and craving like specific kind of attention. Like we were always walking that line with her of like, she would occasionally be like, oh, Ella and Holly are merging into one, like because Holly is her performer name. And like Ella is her real name. But like she would kind of like herself blur those lines a little bit and have to remind herself like, I am playing a role. My client is here for an experience. Like it's not about me, but also getting super into it. And I just like, I'm just literally curious about like from someone who's in that industry where that line is and like how dangerous it might be to like be walking that line of like, I'm very interested versus like, I'm here for a job.
Well, also in this, every one of her clients, she, not everyone, but she was the one that ended up being more attached.
Yeah, that's true.
Which was interesting because I feel like, you know, you hear the like, guys go out to a strip club and it's like, the stripper really likes me. No, honey, she's just doing her job. But it almost was the opposite. Like there were a couple that she was like, oh no, I think I want to see them again a lot, in fact.
Which is the morning after syndrome that we mentioned earlier, which is so funny and cute. And I really liked it. Like it was interesting how like we kind of like toyed with the reader a little bit, because I do feel like in a romance, like we set up like each one in the beginning. Like I finally like got wise to it after like the third really in-depth description of a man and how much she enjoyed him fucking her. Like we used all of the same like cues that I feel like you would in a regular romance to like hint like, oh, this guy's gonna be different. This is a male main character. Like we're gonna have a relationship outside of like exchanging money for sex. And I was really impressed that one, I was able to got so many times. Like I was just like, oh, this guy for sure. This guy for sure. And two, that like at the end of it all, it makes so much more sense that no, of course she's not going to get together with a client. She's like starting to explore something with another of the hardcorers who is like in her profession and understands, and like they have like a foundation upon which to work, and like both come from shitty relationships. Like it kind of came out of nowhere, but I also kind of liked it.
I think it's one of those things that is the only reason this is considered a romance and not erotica. Is Josh. And he's in the next book. Like, so the next book is about the two of them.
Okay.
Oh, this is a series, friends.
See, at first I was like, okay, but also we've been a little bit conditioned with, even though we will read a Why Choose or whatever, but we've been conditioned to expect that romance and expect that there's going to be the one or two or three or sometimes 10 guy that's going to come into the picture and whatever. We've been conditioned because of what we've read, that it was kind of a little refreshing to like, oh no, wait, like she's doing this for the love of the game and not because she's looking for
She's not looking for her pretty woman moment.
Yes. And maybe that also kind of is in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
I like the fact that no one came and saved her, and she really did save herself. Like, this profession, structurally, this book kind of stuck within every other chapter. One chapter was either the before or after, and then the next chapter was an encounter. And in those chapters of Holly's regular life, we got to see how she was reacting to this change, because in the relationship that ended, she was supporting this douchebag who wanted to be a rock star. She was financially supporting him. She was emotionally supporting him. She was working a minimum wage job, stocking grocery stores. So her spirit was broken, and her sense of self and self-worth was broken. And the fact that this job let her be someone else, it's almost to fake it till you make it, like step into a role of kind of the person she wanted to be, and then get praise for it almost instantly. Like, you get a review within a couple hours. She would get bonuses. She would get paid. That reassurance that what she was doing, she was good at, I think it went so far to helping her emerge from this sadness and from this place of darkness where she'd been in. And the Holly that we met in that first chapter, who's sad and alone and sees no way forward,
who can't even afford a plane trip back to see her parents.
Well, I mean, Australia's expensive, but like,
God, right?
Can't afford basically anything. She's
living on pasta.
Mountains of debt. Yeah, like, she's in mountains of debt because she's been financially supporting this shitbag, and suddenly she has hope, and she has choices, and she can express herself and do things for her. And also, she's young. She's what, 25?
24. She's 24.
She's like, that's so young.
There were several instances where I was like, oh yes, this is 24-year-old kind of like.
I mean, you're also so horny at 24.
So horny. You have so much. You're made of rubber. Like, the ability to back after like the nights that we've described, and then like she gets up the next day, and I'm just like,
how are you walking?
How are you moving? I don't understand.
I know that we're going to get to the lube conversation at some point. It doesn't have to be now, but I don't think I've ever noted, why is there no lube, so many times.
Frequently,
the time where like I actually really, I don't know, I kind of enjoyed like the husband and wife role play scene overall. I found it very fun, and but I was just like, oh, no. Like, you cannot just shove into the anus with no lube. There was so much of it. So many references to like her tearing, to her bleeding in like different ways and different scenes. And I was just like,
a couple times I was like, she's gonna get turned inside out. Like, that's not good. That's not no. We need to fix this. This is not safe.
I almost wish that there had been a rule from the agency that lube must be used, even if you pretend it's not.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm gonna like put it in here without whatever it is. Like, you can say what you want, but the understanding is to keep your clients safe. Not clients, but to keep your performers safe. There are certain things that, like, because an anal tear can put you out of commission for weeks. It can get infected. It can put you in the hospital. Like, there are seriously bad things that could happen. So moments when like just a little lube would go so far to protect your asset, the performer.
Yeah.
And if the rule was just, you can pretend you're not using lube, but you have to.
You have to use it, yeah.
You have to use it.
The other thing that I was like, I liked the continued like reinforcement of like clients are carefully vetted.
Yeah.
Yes.
I did find myself being like, okay, but this client purchased her time for his boyfriend, for example.
I did have that same conversation. Or like this client purchased her time for 8 men.
Yes. Like, are all of them producing their STI results? Like, are all of them, like, because, like, she loses track of who's putting what where. Like, that, the logistics of, like...
Well, and at this point, only, like, with the group of 8, only one of them has their, like, account on the line, if you will.
Yeah.
Where, like...
So, and I do wonder, but, like, this isn't the first year that they've done this. So I do wonder if... I'm sorry, I swallowed my tea the wrong way. They do all have to get vetted. The thing about that scene, there were two things about that scene. Number one, are you cleaning your dick between ass and pussy? Or are you only ass or only pussy? Because if
we had this conversation the other day.
Because, like, that is so unsanitary and, again, unsafe. So I do wonder, and I wish we'd seen, if there were, like, things that you can't do for entertainer safety, because that is one of those. It's not safe. And then number 2, you never negotiate up in a scene.
Yeah.
And so the fact that then she was like, you can fist me. I'm like, no, you can't.
Nope.
Devastating. I was like, this is not how you're supposed to do any of that.
Princess Rara would not approve. Like, no, you can never negotiate up. And okay, this is a great book if you want to kind of see what is out there.
Yes, there is a range of broad spectrum of kink in this book.
Very broad. This is not at all what I would consider a how-to guide.
No.
Because they are not negotiating a scene. No. A client proposes something and she accepts it. And we do get those thoughts in the scenes of, well, what I would prefer is X, Y, Z, but
this is
I'm here for the client.
It's
not about me. It's about what the client wants, and the client has said this. And so this is not a good example of a kink relationship.
No.
But it's also not relationships in all of that too.
No.
It also was interesting to me because, like, she was into all of it and she had done some of it before, but she was not the expert in many of these situations.
Nope.
Yes. I'm talk more about that because I also clocked that and was intrigued by it.
Like, especially with the dungeon, like, she had done some of it, but not all of it. She was not the expert. And also, the guy ended up saying, like, well, I kind of lost track of time. That's a safety issue.
Yeah, he left her breasts bound for way too long.
Yes, which we just learned about in a book the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where there's a certain time limit that you shouldn't go past. Yeah. But she was never the expert. She was never, a lot of this, it was the first time she was doing it. She was into it, and that's great and fun. But, like, you don't necessarily know how many times somebody has done this. And I mean, she's got the message boards to go off of, but, like, I don't know. I didn't love that part of it. Like,
I agree. And like, especially
things or the rules of stuff.
And I feel like that is kind of comes with the territory. Like, sex work is not necessarily always the safest job. And some of that is because of the nature of it, but some of that is also because people can come into it with bad intentions. Fortunately, none of the people in this seem to have any ill intent towards any of the workers. They respected them. Which was nice to see, like that there was always some level of respect for the job and for the human involved in it.
I think that was the only thing that got me through, like, the park scene was, like, even with the two rich assholes who were, like, talking loudly in a hotel bar about her profession, like, that was, like, the closest that we got to, like, vilification of her, and I wouldn't even call it vilification. Like, it's just like, insensitive bullshit. But, like, that almost, like, by that scene, I felt like, I mean, we talk a lot about pacts, kind of unspoken pacts, like, or spoken pacts of, like, genre, for example, like romance always has a happy ending. But, like, I felt like by the time we got to, like, the truly concerning scenes, like, we and Jade West, I think is the author. Like, Jade West had basically made this promise to the reader of, like, every single one of these encounters is going to be okay. Like, it's going to be respectful. It's going to be, like, she's going to come out okay. Like, and I think that's an interesting thing to have successfully done in 260 pages or whatever it was. Because, like, I was on board for the, I mean, not, you know, fully, but
there are things that I wish were different. For the CNC scene, I wish that there had been some sort of, like, code word so that we knew it was him. Because this is still fantasy. Like, you're not showing up at someone's house in a contained environment and showing up in a park. Like, I wanted to make sure
in a seedy area of town
where the cab driver even was like, "This is you okay?"
He does kind of give her some reference that it's him. Like,
he uses some language. He uses some of the language, but it was not enough for me to feel super comfortable that the guy who actually grabbed her was her client.
Agreed.
So I wish it had started with something like, the first words I'll speak to you will be blank, 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 and you'll know it's me.
I agree.
And again, her feet are frozen in December in the countryside.
I think that was interesting before that encounter specifically. Like, and I loved Ebony. God, she was the best. But, like before and after every encounter, it seemed like we got the expert's opinion. It kind of concerned me that as we progressed, the expert's opinion was like, "Girl, what are you doing? Like, slow down, please be safe." But, like, the specific comments with that scene were, like, interesting because Holly would be like, "I can just safe word out and it's fine." And Ebony was like, "Yeah, but, like, a scene like this and a proposal like this could leave you, like, emotionally scarred." Like, that is a real concern that you should have. And, like, I really liked that despite the fact that Holly ignores all of her good advice and does it anyway with just fully jumping into the deep end. Like, at least we acknowledged that, yes, like, this isn't just about, like, in the middle of it, if it gets to be too much, like, you can safe word out. Like, there is still acknowledgement of at what cost. Like, what does it do to your mental to have been so afraid in this particular case? Like, we talk about throughout that whole scene, she's like, my body just keeps wanting to run. And, like, I just, like, instinct drives me and I, like, start sprinting. Why did you wear heels? Why did you wear heels to the park at 1 o'clock in the morning? Like, I just.
Well, to add to the. To add to the scene for him.
I know, but, like.
Did he ask for heels?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But I mean, this also was a very clear-cut CNC situation, not a Primal kind of situation. So she wasn't going into this wearing joggers and running shoes, like ready to give him a run.
It's not fun. I also really appreciate that no matter what proposal she took, she never yucked anyone's yum.
Yeah.
So the period play, she'd never done it before. Oh, but then she also like sucks his dick while it's covered in her. I was like, there's a lot happening here.
Yeah.
Or the worship, she'd never thought about it. And I don't know if they are for her, but I appreciate her willingness for some of the, not even the more dangerous, but the more kind of like out there scenes.
Yeah.
For her to be so accepting. And I think the worship one, she really had to change her mindset. Because she was like, oh, I think I know what worship is. Oh, I don't know what worship is. This is very different.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and she had to remind herself of the role that she needed to play for that, which is that was an interesting one to read.
Yes. It was a lot of...
It might have made me the most uncomfortable.
No, it was definitely the period play for me.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I feel like after the period play, the fact that was scene number 2.
Was it?
I think it was 3.
Oh, it was 3. You're right. You're right. Because we had like, because you, yeah. No, you're so right. But it was just like, we'd had like fairly vanilla kinds of.
Well, that was what you start with. You start with vanilla.
Right. Which is part of the platform, the agency is like, you don't even get to open up your options until you've gone through like the basics, which I think again is like, everything about the setup was so well done where it was like the structuring of like the company, there's never any like, it never feels predatory. Like you think a lot about like the depictions of like pimps, right, in media and like in true crime and like those kinds of relationships where it's like he kind of serves as like bodyguard but also controller in a lot of ways. But like the way that this agency operates, there's an app that you communicate through where you indicate when you've arrived, and there's like messaging through the app. So you're never like exchanging personal information.
No.
There's like
there are timestamps
she gets autonomy of deciding what she wants.
She can accept and reject any proposal that she likes. The client like proposes the amount, and then like she gets to decide whether that's enough for her services or not. Like there's never, it's just agency takes a cut, provides the technology to facilitate, like provides like all the background checks and like the testing and like all of that. Like it's kind of like a utopia of like what sex would look like.
I have to wonder, like the clients, where are they getting their numbers from? Like, no, not their client number, but like how much they decide they're willing to pay.
Oh, they're like dollar amount.
Because I feel like it's pretty consistent in terms of like, so is there like some kind of chart that they're going off of?
Yeah, I really want to know how they're educating their clients about these things. Like, what are the rules for the clients?
Yeah.
And there also doesn't seem to be a quota you have to meet. You have to have this many clients in a week.
Yeah.
You have to have this much money coming in. Because as she opens up her naughty list, she basically rejects every vanilla proposal that comes her way.
Yep.
And that's never mentioned. It's never, no one is saying like, oh, why are you rejecting all these people? So I like that it really is left up to Holly to decide what is the right fit for me. What can I, no one minds that she takes a couple days off from her very intense dungeon scene. But it's it does. It kind of throws the general perception or general portrayal of like a pimp or sex work in general on its head.
Yeah.
And now just like looking at my notes from this.
Also,
there's so many notes about lube.
The worship scene.
Yeah.
How he finds her and he's like, a little birdie told me. So we've got the dungeon guy.
Yeah. Yep.
And then the worship guy. And apparently they're friends because
I love that.
could not. And I mean, that's great. But also, like, I don't know, it was an interesting dynamic with like, I know that my friend is the reason you've got all these bruises all over your body.
Yeah.
He told me what he did to you, and now I'm going to make it better. They're like, kind of like a cute little angel devil team there.
Yes.
Outside of the sex, can we talk about the two I would call like wish fulfillment scenes of like real life, which is one, quitting her job, her day job, and two, getting to tell her ex like to fuck off.
Yep.
Because like there is something very much at play here that like could be true of any person who's starting to work a job that gives them more financial security.
Yeah.
And like to help rebuild not just like your life, but your confidence of like, I can make it on my own. Like I can do this. Like one, her, like the few interactions we got about work, about her minimum wage, stacking product in a grocery store job. Like we get a mention of the other person who's like related to the manager in some fashion and how there's favoritism and how stressed she's been about like getting the wrong end of these like head-to-heads with this other person who's like always slacking off and always not doing their job. And then like Holly has to pick up the slack and she finally gets pushed to her limit and tells the manager, you're being unfair. Like that person is not pulling their weight and they're blaming me. And then like that the manager is just like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, it's fine. Like, I'm just asking you to be more careful. Like, it gets defensive. Like, does normal, like, I'm not playing favorites kind of bullshit. But, like, when Holly pushes, like, then, like, backs down and just walks away. And, like, Holly is left standing there for a second of, like, I was so afraid of, like, stepping a toe out of line, of losing my income. I was so afraid of losing my income that I have been torturing myself with like fear of retaliation if I spoke up about like this unfair work environment. And like, damn it. It was so cathartic to watch her be like, I quit. I'm not giving my notice.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this. Like, I quit.
I'm out.
And like, that is the joy of fuck you money. Where it's just like, I've been talking about this concept a lot recently, and like everyone has a different definition of what fuck you money like entails, like what amount that needs to be. But like my definition has always and will always be, I can leave a job and not be worried for a couple of months. Like, and like to have the ability to walk out of a source of income because it's become too much for you is a very real life situation that I've thoroughly enjoyed watching her get to like walk away from.
And it also is that like being able to say the right thing at the right time, which I'm terrible at doing. I can think of a million things after the fact, but I liked that also.
Oh my God. I'm just laughing so hard at some of my notes. One of the notes that I have in this is, but if anal, why no lube?
Yeah. Yes. A common refrain.
Yeah, it just, So many of these moments. Okay, so now that we've talked about the breadth of this book, did you like it?
Yeah. I loved it. I don't know. I don't know that my face has contorted into that many expressions over such a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
But like there were definitely some scenes that a lot of the scenes like really worked, like in terms of just like being very erotic and like causing some curiosity. Like I agree with your point that like this is a very good glimpse into what all is out there. Even if it isn't a how-to, it did like I don't think it introduced me to anything new, but it was like very it was so well written that like I think the things that I had previously kind of written off, I had a better understanding of like why someone might find it like erotic and sexy to do some of these things, which was really, really intriguing for me. And I love her character arc. I love her friend. I love like her parents. I love like the innocence of it all. We didn't even talk about the fact that like Santa Claus appeared and gave her 30 grand for responding to his message where he was like, I can only pay you $30, but please be my date to this thing. And she shows up and he's like, you are a charitable soul, so I'm going to give you 30 grand. And she just like donates all of it. Like
all of it. Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was fabulous. Just no notes.
Just more lube.
Just more lube. Yeah. I wouldn't say I loved it. I did like it. I do prefer more of the like some level of romance throughout, like give me an end goal kind of thing. I can understand why there wasn't, and there definitely was some. It was a big range of scenes in here.
Yeah,
but it kind of threw me around a little bit, even though it was like starting off slow and getting to wild. But no, I did like it. I am interested in reading the next book, and it was really well written. Like, and it was eye-opening. It made me reconsider some probably like biases that I've been conditioned to have about sex work. Yeah. And makes me like rethink some things about it all, which I think is an important thing to get from your erotica.
I know, it's so close to erotica, but there is that happily for now romance portion that I think just nudges it over the line. I'm really glad to have y'all to talk about this with, because when I read this, it was just me alone going, what will happen? And
I can't imagine going through this experience alone. Because I was like, I can't, like, reading it, I was like, I'm so glad that I can text Kay about this, that I'm about to talk to Jace about this, because, like, I have so many thoughts. And, like, it would just, like, I can't talk to my regular friends about this. No. Like, they all listen to the podcast, but, like,
this book is really intense.
Yeah.
This book is intense. Yeah. And all under 300 pages. Like, let's be clear. This all happens in less than 300 pages. And I've heard this is probably like one of the spiciest books I've ever read. Yeah. In terms of just the amount, the breadth of it, the diversity of it.
I completely agree.
But it's because it's the plot.
Yeah. I mean, we can
also talk about how many times she comes, like, constantly.
Well, and that was definitely something that I was like, oh, okay. So, like, no, she really is into it, because, like, because if you're not into it, it's not going to happen. So, like, it was impressive to me in a way that almost was unbelievable.
I liked that, like, the very first one, like, the vanilla scene. Like, she kind of makes a promise to herself that she's not gonna perform in that way. Like, she's not gonna fake it.
Yes.
And she goes, she like thinks to herself about like getting herself there.
Yeah.
And like having had an interaction with a man where he thought that he was exceptional at sex, and me being like, no, I got myself there. You just happened to be here. Like, I really appreciated this kind of I ruined that man that day. I did.
You know what, though? We've had this conversation before, and sometimes Elle can be such a badass. And it makes my day.
I will 100% say, like, I have never faked an orgasm. Probably to, like, oh no, the poor men who couldn't satisfy me. But that was a promise I made to myself very early in my life. It was like, I will never fake an orgasm.
Yeah.
Because what are you going to do to the next person you have sex with?
Right. Yeah, I'm doing a service to all vagina havers.
Anyone you choose to be intimate with, you got to know that everyone's different, and sometimes it doesn't work, and that's okay.
Yep.
I think I made that decision later on in my life because I have faked it, and it doesn't work out well for anybody. And I have seen what faking it does to those men later on in life.
Yeah.
And for my part in that, I say I'm sorry to the women of the world.
But also, it was so ingrained in us to, like, oh, well, if you're not having an orgasm, it's your fault. So you don't want to let a man know that there's something broken inside of you. So you should fake the orgasm, rather than he doesn't know what he's doing, or you don't know what positions are best for your body yet. And like, there's so many things that go along with creating an orgasm for people with vulvas that, you know, especially as millennial men, we're not taught what a fucking clitoris is, or I don't even know if they'd done the research to know how big the fucking clitoris is. So like, there was just so little information that we had access to.
True.
Yes. Yeah.
So sad. But this is, and she does, like, she gets her clit stimulated. She stimulates her clit. She seems to be able to have orgasms from her G-spot and from penetration and the mix of pain and pleasure. It did do a really good job, like you said, Kay, of showing how into it she was.
Yeah.
And that this wasn't completely performative. With all of the intimacy that we're seeing now on screen, in shows and movies and intimacy coordinators and directors and things of that nature, those are very different. It's not the same. This is you having actual sex, not simulated sex, with your body with another person. And that simulated sex on screen isn't sexy because it's choreographed. It's a dance. It's a stunt fight. And even though it might look the same from the outside, the experience in one's body is very different.
Yeah.
And on top of it, she has to follow these proposals. So there are moments, like in the first one, in that first encounter she has with a client, the vanilla one, she says, I wish he'd pinch and tug my nipples and grip nice and tight, but he doesn't. Just keep stroking with a smile.
Yeah.
And she has these thoughts of, I wish I could ask for what I want, but it's not about me.
Right.
And that's the reminder of,
constant reminder,
like, what is she there for?
Right.
Which is so interesting, because even though it's her physical body engaging in these acts, it isn't about her preferences. And I do wonder if we get scenes of her and Josh in book 2, how does that internal monologue change? And what does she ask for?
Yeah.
for herself rather than to keep going with the proposal. Like when she was with the husband and wife, the proposal said, I want you to keep saying how much you love my husband's dick and how you're not going to stop for it at all. And so she says the things she's told to say, but that's not necessarily what she wants or she's thinking about.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a good point. Like, and I wonder too, like, given that both of them are in the business.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there is a really interesting opportunity to play with how you come as just yourself. As just yourself in a relationship like this, where both of you are used to satisfying the proposal of a sexual partner, and like,
and how everything's kind of laid out beforehand for all of this. So are they going to lay out what they want before, or are they going to just let it come naturally?
I think certainly with vanilla sex, there's no reason why you can't lay things out there with a partner. Like, hey, tonight, do you know what I really want to do to you? Or what I would love is to like sit on your face or suck your dick or 69 or whatever. I think negotiation and planning in vanilla sex or in relationships is perfectly acceptable because it also can build anticipation of what's going to happen. But I'm now, God, y'all are just making me think about the second book. Like, do I just dive into the second book?
You've got some time.
All right. Oh, so like this is the funny part is because I don't have any concluding questions for you. If you haven't, go back and listen or watch the episode where What in the Smut came on the podcast before. I'll make sure that it's linked in the show notes. And if you're watching this on some sort of platform, there will be a little squiggle. But also, I was on their podcast for a beautiful Thanksgiving episode.
That's the word you're going to use?
I didn't say a beautiful book. I said episode.
Okay, fair.
We had fun with that. That episode was a lot of fun because I think the more we talked about the book, the less we all liked it.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning of the episode, I was like, this is a perfectly passable blank. And then the more we talked about it, I was like, no, no, I think I just blocked out how bad it was. So those will be linked in the show notes. And where can people find you on the internets?
We are on Instagram and Threads at
The Wits Pod.
And then we are on TikTok at What in the Smut with periods in between each word.
And we release an episode every Monday. So you can find us wherever you find your podcasts. We currently, we've kind of stopped doing this, but every now and then we'll go like, we have more Android users than Apple users. Like, because Kay is an Apple iPhone girly and I am not.
It doesn't happen often though.
Thank you so much. I also really appreciate how open to reading this book you were. I don't think I gave you any warning. I just said, this is a book that almost broke me. Would you read it with me? And you said, sure, I'm game. And I gave you no safe words. I gave you nothing.
Well, we always go into most books without any kind of trigger warning ourselves. So that was not new to us. But also this was very different from what we typically read for the podcast. I feel like we tend to go with more of the sentient object, the basic but very smutty romance. So this was a different read for us, which was fun.
I'm glad. It was fun. I think I liked it a lot better the second time around because in the first time around, I mean, I liked it, but there was just so much shock. I was like, I don't know what's happening.
You were prepared
next.
Second time around.
I was prepared the second time around and I could kind of like knowing that we were all going to be safe physically and emotionally.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
It really did help. And so thank you. This has been so much fun. 2 years in the making for me. I truly read this book 2 years ago in February of 2024. And I've just been the only person in my sphere who's read it. So
I love that we could help you out with that.
I needed someone else to know that this book existed and to experience it with me.
Which is crazy because it did pop up a lot with our searching for Christmas books, which again, this is not a Christmas book.
No, it's not. No, it has nothing to do. Like if this were Labor Day or Easter or just her birthday, same effect.
Yep. Correct.
Same effect. But I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Everyone, go find What in the Smut podcast if you love Sentient Object, if you like more book clubs than less. As you know, we don't do book clubs with a ton of frequency, and so they have amazing episodes where they share books that they read every single week.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. We had a lot of fun.
Of course. All right, y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Jace Reads Romance is a 3 Paws Productions podcast. Produced by Seffi, edited by Michael Achenbach. Our theme song is written and performed by Diana Weishauer. For show notes and more, head to www.jacereadsromance.com. That's JAYCE Reads Romance. Follow us on socials at Jace Reads Romance everywhere. Have a question, story, or a book recommendation you know I'll love? Email Jace at jacereadsromance.com or call and leave a voicemail at 661-JACE-RR. That's 661-529-2377. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast. And as always, this is Jace, holding space for you.